What a blockchain nation. Thank you for taking time to watch this video. So let's get into it. So I'm going to talk today about Arc.io. So Arc.io is a blockchain platform for building blockchain applications, and also it has a huge tool set, and it's something that I've been looking at and I'm excited about, which is what I want to talk about. So before I mention that, what Arc.io is, Arc should not be, sometimes I have met a couple of people, maybe that's not you, that have mistaken the Arc.io blockchain framework with Arc Invest, which is run by Cathie Wood. As you can see, this is Arc, and as you can see, our team for Arc Invest, which is really an investment platform that invests in innovative or in forward-moving concepts, and also they are very innovative and they look for concepts or tech stacks and innovative and invest in that. And as you know, Cathie Wood is the Chief Investment Officer of Arc Invest, and she is very outspoken in the crypto space. So Arc Invest is not the same as Arc.io. Arc.io is a totally different concept. I'm just to put that out there just in case. Anyways, so this is the YouTube channel. Take time and watch what Arc.io is the simplest way to blockchain. I'll explain what that means. And so let's dive into it real quickly. So Bitcoin was the first application of quote unquote blockchain technology. So blockchain is just a distributed ledger of asset transactions across a peer-to-peer network. That's a definition by Bettina Warburg. So Bitcoin has its limitations. The first implication of Bitcoin is in the area of money and finance. But after Bitcoin, there have been other crypto assets that have exploded due to the quote-unquote shortcomings of Bitcoin in terms of the time it takes to process transactions, and also the way, because it's a decentralized framework, there's something called consensus. Consensus means everyone agreeing on the state of the network. So Bitcoin's consensus mechanism is something called proof of work, which people might argue and say that it's slow. We might say that it uses up a lot of energy. So there have been other iterations of distributed ledgers or blockchain technology, and one of that is Ethereum, which is very popular, and also the quote-unquote improvements on top of Ethereum are, in comparison to Bitcoin, is the fact that you can also write smart contracts on top of Ethereum. Anyway, so let's get into it. So Arc is also a blockchain project. So the shortcomings of Bitcoin led to so many other crypto assets being involved, or concepts or technology stacks or technology frameworks, which are also distributed ledgers as well, to be created, and one of those is Arc. So after it, like I said, with Ethereum, it's an improvement on Bitcoin, quote unquote. It's a different distributed ledger, it's a different consensus algorithm, and you can also write smart contracts on Ethereum. Anyways, and here we have Arc. Now, to me, I'll say the closest thing to Arc is another project which is called Cardano. So if you look at the IOHK right here, you see they have different projects they've worked on. One of them is Cardano. Cardano is their concept is to make a distributed stack similar to Ethereum. They also have a consensus algorithm, which is I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, a delegated proof of stake. So to me, this is one of the closest frameworks that are similar to Arc.io, to the Arc ecosystem. So let's look at this real quick. So I think what Arc is trying to do is a couple of things. One, they are trying to make a blockchain framework that is open source, that you can also build on top of, kind of like what Hyperledger is doing, but they are more creating, or their focus is to create like private blockchains, although they are not moving away, they have alternatives like Hyperledger, BESU, and I'm not even of that you can actually build public blockchains on top of. So that's one of the first things that Arc is trying to do. Second thing is scalability, to create a blockchain network that can scale. The third thing is interoperability, which means that a blockchain that can interact with other blockchains. So let's just quickly look through this real quick. So they have a delegated proof of stake consensus algorithm. They also have what you call staking, which means you can stake your Arc token. So every blockchain network has its own token, which means it has its own like crypto assets on top of it. So the Arc public network is the official home of the native Arc crypto assets, like I mentioned, like how Ethereum or the Ethereum network has Ether, and on the Bitcoin network it has Bitcoin, obviously. So also we have 8-second block times, which is faster than Bitcoin, faster than Ethereum, arguably. And also because it's a delegated proof of stake, they have what you call validated nodes. So we'll get into all that. So this is just a white paper. I mean, to me, there's so much about this technology and so much about this network that I doubt if we can go through every single thing, but just to, at a high level, just so we could read this together. In 2008, Satoshi Nakamoto, I'll just make this bigger, published a groundbreaking paper that presented the first decentralized solution to solve the problems of double spending. Now, the exuberance that drove the initial growth of the decentralized technology landscape has yielded to pragmatism and questions about adoption and use cases. So blockchain projects are now moving from experimentation around decentralized technologies to complete solutions including consensus mechanisms, identity, data structures, crypto-economic designs, and smart contracts. But to deliver truly world-changing results, blockchain technologies must be easily accessible to developers, users, governments, and businesses alike. So this is this is the white paper. They are eliminating barriers to entry to creating a blockchain network. Is a perfect starting point. Talks about the trilemmas of blockchains: scalability, security, and decentralization, which means that if a blockchain can scale, usually it's not secure and not decentralized, or if it might scale and be decentralized but not secure, or it might be secure and scalable, but it's not decentralized. Like you can argue that AWS might be secure, it might be a scalable application, but it's not decentralized. It's secure because it's very centralized. But yeah, so this is just usually sometimes it's a trade-off. One of the above. So ARK's goal is to do interoperability, which enabling independent claims to exchange value and information, independent chains to exchange value and information, and sustainability, creating self-sufficient and self-governing environments. So let's go back to the white paper and let's talk about the blockchain framework. So it's open source, which means that you can have access to the source code, and you, as a developer, you can build plugins on top of the tech stack, which I thought was neat. It's a modular architecture, which allows you that you can actually customize it. It has different modules, like how you say on object-oriented programming, you have different classes. So it's because it's modular, you can take parts of it and you can adopt it and change it to suit your needs. You can write custom smart contracts. Now, one good thing about this also with Ark is that with Ethereum, with smart contracts, you have to learn a different programming language called Solidity. But on Ark, there are smart contracts you can use. If you have the knowledge of TypeScript, you can actually use that knowledge to write smart contracts. And lastly, they have a smart bridge that allows exchange of value and data between blockchains using Ark's custom hash time lock. So what just this means is that it allows you to exchange value between different blockchains, kind of like what Polkadot is doing. I've done a video about that. That allows you to have a bridge and do interactions across blockchains. So let's go quick into the other couple of things. So the Ark blockchain platform. So these are the different suites or the tools or the different features on top of the Ark blockchain. First, you have the Ark Deployer. So Deployer is a free and easy to use blockchain creation tool that enables you to create, customize, and launch your own blockchain directly into connected servers. So if you want to create your own blockchain, maybe you have a native token that you want to create, or you can do, there's multiple ways to do that. You can go on Ethereum and you can write a smart contract on Ethereum to create your own token, or you can go on the Binance Smart Chain and create your own token, or you want to create your own blockchain for whatever use case. Maybe you want to do something that's related to a loyalty network, a reward system, and you want to build out your own network. You can use Hyperledger Fabric, which is a very private network, or you can use Hyperledger BESU, or you can use Ark. That's what we're saying. So Deployer allows you to do that. So if we visit Deployer, this opens in a new tab. I think it's still in it begins in 2021. Write your name and email. So they're still in a beta stage, or they're still, I'm not sure if this is, at the time I'm recording this video, available yet. So you can launch your deployer, and then you can create your own best overall value budget in the industry. So you can read through this, how deployer is different from the other networks out there. What about deep dive? Preparing other applications and sites, yada, 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 yada. Anyways, so deployer is the first piece, or the first feature of the technology stack. And then after deployer, next we have the Market Square. I thought this was neat. So Market Square is a homepage for the decentralized web. So one of the goals of Ark is to create a kind of a decentralized or decentralized and interoperable technology stack or network. So it creates one platform for the whole industry and not just the Ark ecosystem. Customize pages with details about your project, invite team members and collaborate with projects. So if we visit Market Square, I think this is really neat. I thought this is definitely a huge plus for Ark. So this is Market Square. You can explore different hubs, whether it's the Ark hub or Hive. So Hive is also an interesting concept. Maybe I'll do a video about this later. So Hive has its own native crypto assets, kind of like how every single most decentralized networks have their own native crypto assets. So Hive has its own native crypto assets. It also has a governance token, and it also has a stable coin as well. But I'm not going to talk about Hive. So on the marketplace, you can look at different networks, whether it's Ark, whether it's Hive, you can see Bitcoin, you can also see it has support for Cardano, for EOS, and all this is coming soon for Polkadot and the rest, which I think is really, really neat. So you can see different categories. So it's pretty much a decentralized web. You can look at NFTs, and it is a hub, a market square where you can look at different crypto assets and look at the projects under them and get information about them. So I think I like this. I think this is something that for me is a huge plus for what ARK is trying to do. Lastly, you have a desktop wallet and you have a mobile wallet as well. This is ARK Native's desktop wallet where you can keep your ARK tokens. And you also have a mobile wallet as well. So you can install this on your mobile phone and then you can track it, portfolio tracking. So you can have like your portfolio, you can have your tokens. So it supports multiple crypto tokens. Okay, that's opening up. Let me just finish this. It allows for staking while you're offline. So you can stake your ARK tokens and earn yield on top of it. And you can have a clean and intuitive user experience. And I can probably show you that, but maybe not. Maybe I will show you that. So then finally, we have the ARK Explorer. So the ARK Explorer, so every blockchain network, one thing I love about, you have to appreciate about blockchain networks, especially when it comes to the assets that sit on those networks. Unlike your banks, whereby you have to have access to my bank account to see all my transactions. On a blockchain network, you can see all the transactions, and usually it's through some kind of block explorer. Ethereum has a Ethereum Explorer, Bitcoin has a Bitcoin Explorer as well. So as you can see, this is the ARK Explorer. If I go to where it says delegates, there are 51 nodes, delegated validator nodes. As you can see right here, all the way, you can see information about them. Because it's a proof of stake consensus algorithm, you can see how much tokens that they have staked, how much they've staked, token stake, what's the word? Anyway, how much they've staked. You can see the productivity of each of the delegates. You can see how many blocks there are. You can look at all the wallets that sit here on ARK, and this just goes on and on and on. You can see statistics. You can see the ARK all-time transactions. You can see the average fee to process, to transfer tokens between wallets. You can see all the times the fees have been collected. You can see the value of the ARK token. And then what else can you see on this? Let's go back to ARK Explorer. So you can see the total supply. I mean, you can see the market cap, which is about 251 million, and that's the price of the ARK token, total supply, and what height of the block it currently has been mined. So this is neat as well. Oh yeah, and the last is the desktop wallet, which I have to install and walk you through this, which I won't bore you to death with, probably in a subsequent video. But that's at a high level. This is really what ARK is. You can join the ARK community on YouTube, podcasts, you can read blogs, and there are so many videos here on ARK. So I just want to quickly say, I think this is a very exciting project. I like what they're doing. I mean, there are so many projects in the crypto space, from Cardano to Neo to so many to NFT, to understanding DeFi, understanding NFTs is huge. I mean, it's a huge industry, it's a huge space, and it's a lot to take in and to learn. But I definitely think that ARK is, in my opinion, a very, very exciting project and something to look out for in the future, in my personal opinion. And with that, like I always say, my wish for you is that you learn more about blockchain technology, because blockchain is changing and will change the world, especially in the finance, distributed technology space. And it's my personal opinion that those who get involved early will greatly impact the future. And if that is you, then let's go change the world.
If you would like to create more awareness for your brand or content, or you would like to earn additional income, register now on www.CLIQKI.com. The more you share, the more you earn. CLIQKI.